We are extremely pleased to have a very special guest with us tonight in Dr. Jeffrey Veale. Veale, excuse me. Dr. Veale is director of the UCLA Kidney Transplant Exchange Program and personally performs, well, 150 transplants a year, give or take a few, right, Jeffrey? Yeah, thumbs up. Wow. He is a pioneer in kidney paired donation, where in 2008, he performed the first chain transplant in the Western United States. This was also the first what is called out-of-sequence chain transplant and the first live donor kidney shipped coast to coast on a commercial airline. They checked it right through baggage and TSA, I understand. Dr. Veale has held many leadership roles, including chair of the Surgical Committee, the National Kidney Registry, chair of the Kidney and Pancreas Committee, One Legacy, and chair of the Finance Committee at the UCLA Department of Urology. He has been the co-investigator on numerous NIH grants. He is currently the principal investigator of an NIH R21 grant that explores the motivation and the characteristics of non-detected altruistic donors. I will leave that up to him to explain to you what that means. That's way above my pay grade. And finally, in 2009, Dr. Veale received the Graduate of the Last Decade Gold Award from the University of Calgary. Please, a warm Bakersfield welcome to Dr. Jeffrey Veale.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, this is an event. This is an event. I don't want to get all braggy on Lori and Bob, but there's not 500 people here. I heard there's almost 600 people here tonight. So, I mean, a round of applause to Bakersfield. I didn't know what I was getting into, but this is great. I got to tell you, it's a special night for me because I ran into Amanda, who is the best friend of someone who donated a kidney to a person I transplanted 2 weeks ago. So it was extra special for me, and I'm just going to say three things. I was watching that video, and I believe it was Rochelle, whose daughter said, "Look, I would like to donate. I happen to not be a match with my mother, but I would like to donate." And I can tell you, living donation has become very important because there's fewer deceased donors out there. And the reason for that is that if you look in the news, you might think it's terrible. Oh my gosh, society, there's car accidents, there's murders. But it's actually at a 60-year low for traffic fatalities. And that's because of airbags and seat belts, and kids these days, they want to Uber or use a smart car, or they don't even care about a car. So it's actually very safe on the roads. And the murder rate, unless you're in Chicago or a few other centers, most American cities are at a 50-year low for murder rates. So that means that society, it's great news for society, but there's not as many deceased donor kidneys available. There's not as many deceased donor organs. And so living donation has become more and more important. And I just want to say that if you feel like you have a loved one that can donate a kidney, donate, but it still is a surgery. There's a 3 in 10,000 chance of death. There still is a 1% complication rate, but 99% of the time, the donors do well. They leave hospital the next day. The surgery is done laparoscopic. I don't want to get all fancy on you, but it's not the big incision anymore. You don't take out a rib, and it's a smaller incision, and you go home. And that's the first point I want to make, is that living donation is very important. I'm only keeping it to 3 points because I know there's been some drinking here, including myself. So that's the first point. Living donation is important because there's fewer deceased donors out there. The second point is there's an exchange program. So Rochelle's daughter mentioned that she's not a match with her mom. There's a new program where Rochelle's daughter could maybe donate to my daughter. She's not on dialysis, but if my daughter was on dialysis, she could donate to my daughter, and maybe I'm not a match for my daughter, but maybe I could donate to Rochelle. So there's a beautiful new program because of a computer system and an algorithm that you can match up people. So all the recipient needs is a bargaining chip, a living donor, and the computer system can match the kidney with someone else, and then their loved one can get a kidney. So that's point number 2. There is a new program. I don't know why we didn't think of it sooner. It's very straightforward, but there's a matching program where you can, even if you're not a match for your loved one, and 35% of people are not a match for their loved one. So Rochelle's daughter is not alone. 65% of the time, you are a match. The third point, I've almost forgotten what the third point was, but I do have a third point. I know what the third point was this, is that Jeffrey John gave a gift. And he gave, I don't know if he gave kidneys, lungs, heart, whatever it was. But it might have gone into an African-American person as well. It might have gone into an Asian person. It might have gone into a Hispanic person. Who knows what? And I just feel like the way a society is right now and what you hear in the media is not what it looks like to a surgeon. A kidney is pink. You don't have to match a person by their skin color. When I look at a kidney, it's pink. And often it's a guy like JJ who gives a kidney to an African-American woman, or it's a Hispanic man, or it's an Asian child. And I can't tell what the skin color is because a kidney is pink. And I just hope that more and more people focus on that we are all more similar than different. And that was my third point. And I want to thank you guys for having me tonight. It's a hell of an event.